Procedural dramas are shows where a problem is introduced, investigated, and solved within the episode. Series like NCIS, CSI, Law & Order, House, and The Unit. And today there are more types than ever before. You got legal, medical, forensic, supernatural, and season-long investigative arcs. Now, out of all the genres you can audition for, I believe procedurals to be some of the easiest to book. Not because they're simple, but because they're specific. These worlds are filled with experts like lawyers, teachers, detectives, doctors, military personnel, and your job is to be believable in that expertise. If you can deliver the dialogue with confidence and look the part, you instantly rise to the top. The challenge and the opportunity is in the language. Procedural scripts are packed with technical jargon that can feel intimidating, but if you can deliver those lines like you understand it, not just memorize it, you instantly separate your tape from most actors submitting for these roles. My name is Hamza, and I help actors make their auditions stronger and bring their scenes to life by breaking down the stuff I wish I knew when I started. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down a procedural role I booked as a medical examiner on the NBC series Debris, so you can learn exactly how to approach these auditions with clarity, confidence, and ease. Let's jump in. Now, Debris is a sci-fi drama where two agents from two different continents and two different mindsets must work together to investigate when a wreckage from a destroyed alien spacecraft has mysterious effects on humankind, and stars Jonathan Tucker and Rain Steele. Let's take a look at the breakdown and sides. We have Debris, episode 104, NBC, storyline. Fiona Jones, a highly trained English national from MI6, and her partner, Brian Benevetti, a CIA operative, are brought together to investigate mysterious phenomena. As a team, they bring unique talents and skills to their exploration, which promises to be more complex and personal than either of them had anticipated. The role name is M.E. John, stands for Medical Examiner John, portrayed as male, 30s, open ethnicity. He reports his finding from an autopsy, 8 lines, 1 scene. Let's get into the sides. Interior, vegetable sorting plant, makeshift lab day. Tracking with the agents, they head into a clean room tent where a makeshift lab is set up. The corpse of a farmer is on the table. 2 migrant farm workers who try to save him are on gurneys beside him. Medical examiner John, 30s, washes his hands, having just finished the autopsy. He recognizes Brendan. Agatha, hey John. Not an easy one. What happened to them? Preliminary cause of death appears to be asphyxiation, like they were reacting to some kind of atmospheric change. Atmospheric change. Right, like somehow the atmosphere in there doesn't have enough oxygen. They managed to stumble out, but it was too late. John opens up the farmer's chest cavity. Brendan comes over to look, revealing their lungs have the same slight greenish shimmer tint. What the hell is that? The lining of their lungs appears to have suffered chemical damage, a reaction to what they were breathing. Agatha continues to study the body. Now, there wasn't too much information there. However, what we do know is that it is a principal role for a medical examiner. Now, as actors, we are constantly fighting the urge to give these characters too much. And what I mean by this is, instead of coming up with an elaborate backstory, doing a deep dive into what the profession of actually being a medical examiner is, and thinking of ways we can really make the scene pop, for procedural roles like this, you should simply be focused on really knowing your lines and dressing the part. If you can add that with understanding the beats of your scene, you are golden. I once went in for an audition for a newscaster. This was back in the days when auditions were in person. Now, newscaster auditions are notoriously tough. They're usually monologues packed with information, and you have to deliver them straight into the camera. And as actors, you know we're never supposed to look directly into the camera. Something about staring down the lens just makes your brain shut off. Now, as I waited to go in, I watched one actor after another leave that room with their heads down, completely frustrated at the fact that they couldn't make it through their audition. When it was finally my turn, I stumbled through the audition like everybody else. But I remember thinking if I'd just been fully off book, if I just delivered those lines with confidence, the role could have easily been mine. Even if I didn't book it, I would have stood out. And from that day forth, I made it a rule to myself to never walk into an audition or submit a self-tape without being completely off book. And if you're someone who struggles with line memorization, I got you covered. I put together a short video and some techniques that have really helped me in the past get my lines down quickly and efficiently. I'll link it to this video. Remember, preparation breeds confidence, and really knowing your lines for a procedural role instantly makes your auditions believable. Now, this is an aesthetic industry. When it comes to dressing the part, the people watching your self-tapes have to look at you and instantly see the character you're trying to portray before you've even said your first lines. If you're auditioning for a lawyer and in your scene you're giving a deposition, you have to dress accordingly. If you submit your audition not dressed in professional attire, you've already shot yourself in the foot. Our first impression with self-tapes is everything, and if you don't look the part, you're giving casting a reason to skip your tape and move on to the next. It's not like back in the day when in-the-room auditions were the norm, and they were only seeing 10 people for each role. They now have way more options to go through, and by not dressing the part, you're pretty much telling casting directors you don't care enough about the audition. And if you don't care, why should they? Another benefit of dressing the part is how it affects the way we feel, which in turn is a great way of dropping into character. And the way we feel directly impacts our ability to influence people. Now let's take a look at the audition I submitted for the role that ended up leading to the booking.
Hey, John?
Hey, it's not an easy one.
What happened?
A preliminary cause of death appears to be asphyxiation, like they were reacting to some kind of atmospheric change.
Atmospheric change?
Right? Like the atmosphere in there doesn't have enough oxygen. They managed to make it out, but it was too late.
What the hell is that?
The lining of their lungs appears to have been affected by chemical damage, a result of what they were breathing. Hey, it's not an easy one.
What happened to them?
Preliminary cause of death appears to be asphyxiation, like they're reacting to some type of atmospheric change.
Atmospheric change?
Right, like somehow the atmosphere in there doesn't have enough oxygen. They managed to stumble out, but it was too late.
What the hell happened here?
The lining of their lungs appears to have suffered chemical damage, a reaction to what they were breathing.
As you can see, I kept the audition simple. I dressed the part with a lab coat and a collared shirt underneath. Off the top, I was looking at some paperwork to establish a moment before. I was able to deliver my lines with confidence, and I also had an opinion about what it was that I was saying. And that's an important note to keep in mind. Remember, we're not just talking heads here. We have to have an opinion about what it is that we're saying. There was an effective use of props that wasn't too distracting with the clipboard and the glasses, and I had clear and established beats. I started off by reviewing the paperwork off the top, I addressed my colleagues, and I played out the action of showing them the cadaver while I shared my findings. Principal roles in procedurals exist to push the story forward. Your scenes are there to deliver key information clearly and confidently, so keep your objectives simple. Dress the part, know your lines inside and out, and share the information in a way that propels the story and supports the lead. If you do that consistently, you'll start submitting competitive procedural tapes that'll put you in real positions to book. Good luck on your next self-tape, and I'll see you in the next one.